Now, before I move into living with my grandpa, I would like to say that I had some time homeless in my car. Got a membership at 24 Hour Fitness. I essentially was trying to find a job everywhere. And I'd also like to mention that when I say that I wouldn't mind someone living with me, it would come with standards of how to get you to take the next step in life. So I noticed that a lot of family members just, hey, you can live with me, and they tell them, go get a job, and they just let that move forward. Sometimes this works, but sometimes it doesn't. One example is that when I decided to lend someone money before, I don't just lend money. I create like a 6-step plan. Here's $100 if you read the first 20 pages of this part of the Bible. Here's $100 if you decide to spend the first 3 weeks taking a 10-minute walk. Here's $100 if you're willing to sit down and have a talk with me for a couple hours about your situation. So creating structured plans to get people to be where they need to be, rather than just giving them access and then letting them do whatever they want with it, because maybe they don't actually know what they're doing with it. So that's kind of what I mean. But to refer back to my cousins, again, I'm incredibly grateful for them and their help. And so eventually I move into my grandpa. And so with my grandpa, he didn't, I always had to cook there. That's kind of where I learned to cook, that and meal prepping. I meal prepped a lot, and so essentially it was my method of when I really wanted to hit the gym, and helping my grandpa out would actually help me get better at cooking, so that way it wouldn't be bad. And at my dad's, he always liked to go to restaurants a lot, so essentially I would just have to cook whatever I wanted unless it'd be leftovers. So that's one thing I gained from being there. He also was a very hard worker, taught me how to work the yard, and he did talk a lot. But one thing I realize now, in honor thy father and thy mother, and the fact that he's gone, and the verse that says, be quick to listen and slow to speak, or the other way around, slow to speak, quick to listen. I'm starting to realize that his voice was a treasure, and those things I really find precious. And one thing I notice in people, you will interrupt people very, very often. You'll just cut them off to get your opinion, or cut them off to state something that you know that maybe they don't know, so that way the perspective can be more understood. That's not okay. Sometimes it's good to listen, understand what's going on, fully absorb it, and then move forward. I feel like there's more intelligence in that, and maybe in debates or other things. Remember, everything I'm saying is just me going with it. There's lots of examples where I could be corrected, but this is something I realized. And so living with my grandpa, I would get to the gym at 5 a.m. every day, which I'll continue on the next.